we're going to go ahead and do the lesson over fractions and decimals. Okay, so this is a lot of converting fractions into decimals, decimals into fractions, okay, to see the relationship between them. All right, so some of the first things we're going to be doing is, okay, so we have 1500ths, okay, we've got a decimal. Now we're asked to turn this into a fraction and put it in lowest terms, okay. So that's another step added to the end, okay. So 1500ths. Okay, so remember, this is out of 100. So out of 100, we got 15, right? So just think about that. What would that be as a fraction? 1500ths. What does that look like as a fraction? Well, 15 hundredths. Don't we read them exactly the same? 1500ths, 1500ths. Okay? Okay, they represent the same amount. This is just written as a decimal. This is just written as a fraction. All right, well, we've got our fraction, but remember the instructions say to write them in simplest form, okay? So remember with that, we look at the 15 and the 100. We've got to figure out a number, the greatest common factor that goes into both of them. Well, right off the bat, I know 5 goes into them. So let's divide by 5. And that gives me 3 over 20, okay? Is there a number, does 3 and 20 have a greatest common factor other than 1? No. So this 3 over 20 is this decimal written as a fraction in lowest terms. All right, let's try this again. Okay, so we have a decimal. We'd read this as 435 thousandths. So think about that. What fraction do we read the same way? 435 thousand, right? So we've got our fraction. So now we have to simplify. So again, right off the bat, well, I know 5 will go into both. At least we can start with that. And with these bigger numbers, the hardest thing will probably be simplifying it. So 435 divided by 5, that's 8. 5, 7, okay, 87. Well, the good news is there's not too many numbers going to 87, so we might be at a stopping point. And then this would be 200. Okay, well, 87. I know 3 goes into there because 8 plus 7 is 15. 15 divided by 3, but 3 doesn't go into 200. So I'm pretty sure this is in lowest terms. Okay, so 435 thousandths as a decimal is this as a fraction in simplest terms. Okay, so now we're going to have some fractions, and they're going to ask us to turn them into decimals. Okay. So now the process they have us do in there. So let's see. So in your book, say we've got 5/6. Okay. So what they want you to do in order to turn 5/6 into a decimal is to look at the top number, 5. Okay. We're going to make a division equation, and we're going to put the top number in the house. Okay. This is the dividend, okay? Now we've got the 6, okay? Now the 6 is going into the 5. Now I know that seems really strange because you're like, well, 6 doesn't go into 5, okay? So, which makes sense because we're going to have a decimal. The answer is going to be less than 1, which is a decimal, because we know 5/6 is less than 1. Okay, so right off the bat, remember a few lessons, well, a couple of weeks ago probably, you were dividing decimals and stuff. Well, here we go. This is where we're at. Okay, so we know right off the bat, 6 does not go into 5. We're going to put a 0 there. And then remember, we put that decimal there, and now we can start dropping zeros. Okay, so 6 goes into 50. Well, 6 times 8 is 48. Okay, so we've got a 2. Now remember, we're just going to start adding zeros till we get to a point where we can stop. Okay, that's 3. Well, this is interesting. So are we going to keep getting 3s like pretty much forever? We are. Yep, we're going to be getting 3s forever, okay? That's a repeating decimal. And if we ever get that, that's fine. I know it's repeating. I know I can work it out, 100 more times. It's still going to be a bunch of 3s. I don't need to do that. All I need to do is, and I can take this last 3 off, is put a line over the 3, and that just means that 3 repeats on and on and on forever. All right, so that's how we turn this fraction, 5/6, into a decimal, 0.83, repeating. All right, let's do this again. Let's do 3/4. And I know you're probably saying, well, I already know what 3/4 is as a decimal, and that's fine. But we're going to do that same process so you can see, okay, yeah, I was right. Okay, so again, we put the top number in the house, and then the 4 is the divisor. Okay, so right off the bat, we know we need a decimal. Okay, 4 goes into 30 7 times. Then add another 0. Okay, 4 goes into 20 5 times. Okay, so 3/4 as a decimal is 0.75. We'll do one more. Oh, let's do a mixed number. 5 2/3. All right, so a couple ways. Well, as a decimal, so that means we have 5 wholes and 2/3. Okay, so for a decimal, can't we write 5 point and then whatever that fraction is? Yeah, because 5 wholes, 5 wholes. Okay, that's not written as a fraction, so it's still the same. So really all we need to do now is convert the 2/3 into the decimal to go after that. So 2/3, remember the top number goes in the house and 3 on the outside. Okay, so right off the bat, leave that decimal. That 0, 3 goes into 20 6 times. Oh, looky here. This is another one of those, what were they called? Repeating decimals. Okay, so this would be 5.6, and we don't need both, because we know it's going to go on, and we're going to put that line above the 6 to show that this is a repeating decimal. It goes 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6 forever. All right, so good luck with your assignment.